Guys, the entertainment industry right now is suffering from a disease. It's suffering from an epidemic right now. It's an epidemic that has basically spread to all corners of the entertainment industry. And that epidemic is liberal social justice warrior politics seeping their way into absolutely everything. Whatever it is that you're into, if you're into movies, if you're into TV shows, if you're into, I don't know, cartoons, comics, video games, as I'm heavily into video games, if you're into, it doesn't matter what it is, like if it's in the entertainment industry, if it comes from one of these, one of these industries, one of these outlets, nothing is safe from social justice warrior politics. Nothing. And I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know, okay? This has been covered time and time again. And the reason why I wanted to cover it is because I'm getting really sick and tired of it. I really am. Like, I do movie reviews on this channel. Obviously, I primarily talk about sport, but the reason why I wanted to add some movie reviews and stuff like that, and maybe video game reviews, because I have another channel for that, it just, it makes my channel a little bit more, it adds something different, so that there's more than just one topic to talk about. It adds a little bit of a spin on my channel, makes a change now and then from talking about the same thing. So that's why I do it. But what's really messed up about it, man, is every time I go and see a movie and I think about reviewing the movie, before I've even watched it, the first thing that comes into my mind is, so what am I going to be lectured about this time from this movie? Because back in the past, in the olden days, when they would make movies, movies were about entertainment and they were about executing somebody's vision. You'd have a writer or a director or an artist who would want to portray their art on screen and express themselves and make a movie about whatever was on their mind and something that would entertain fans. Nowadays, when people make movies, it's completely different. More often than not, when people make movies, it's either it's a remake in order to capitalize on people's nostalgia to make money, or it's to straight up lecture people. I mean, certain franchises that got completely hijacked. I mean, a great example of this would be the Star Wars franchise. Now, I'm not a fan of Star Wars. I used to like it when I was a kid. I don't give a fuck about it these days. And even looking back at it, if I'm being honest, the original movies, they were good movies, don't get me wrong, but they were definitely way, way, way overhyped. And yeah, they had their problems too. But it was a franchise that a lot of people loved. It was a franchise that a lot of people got into and were, in awe of. So naturally, with a franchise like that, and of course it was very financially successful, that franchise was completely hijacked and taken over by this liberal politics. Now, nowadays they release one every year, or they release one or two every year, and it is just absolutely jam-packed, filled with some of the cringiest and worst and most unbearably, I don't know, unbearably authoritarian liberal politics. Like, all the characters in lead roles have to be women. They have to have all this forced diversity. The plots have to revolve around some some melodramatic bullshit, and it just sucks. If you look at any of the modern day Star Wars movies from when it was taken over by Disney, so from 2015 onwards, it just straight up sucks. The movies are terrible. The acting is terrible. The writing is terrible. The dialogue is cringeworthy, and it's just unbearable. And that's why I can't even watch those movies anymore. And you look at what happened with Ghostbusters, with the Ghostbusters 2016 reboot, again completely taken over and hijacked by feminists who wanted to push feminist propaganda. The movie was extremely derogatory towards males. I mean, I mean, the final act of the movie was kicking the bad guy in the bollocks, and it was filled with some of the most disgusting and unbearable forced humor I could even imagine. I mean, it was, jokes about queefs and all that type of shit. It was like the movie was designed in order to gross you out. And what's also really disturbing about it is the way that the people behind these movies do everything they can in order to be as vulgar as possible towards fans. Like, before that movie came out, the director, Paul Feig came out and he said anyone who doesn't like this movie is a sexist and a misogynist and a racist and a bigot and this, that, and the other. And it's the same with Star Wars. You know, they attack the fans, you know, called them man babies and stuff like that. Instead of just, you know, taking the constructive criticism on board and cutting out the political bullshit, they decided to attack the fans. So that's what's happened to the entertainment industry, and it really is sad. And what's also really sad is the way that, you know, online media sources, mainstream media sources have to, you know, they have to manipulate ratings, and they have to completely redesign their rules and redesign their platform just to accommodate certain movies. Like what happened with Captain Marvel, for example. The movie sucked. It was absolute garbage. The fans, you know, the fans responded at, you know, they responded in kind. They let people know that, look, this film ain't good. It's shit. It's terrible. And with all the SJW and real vulgar nonsense that was in the movie, and the way that the movie was marketed as well, and the way that the cast of the movie were behaving, and the way the directors and all the writers were behaving, and the build up to the movie, you know, fans let their, you know, they let people know, and they let the people in the industry know that they didn't appreciate it. So what did the mainstream journalism outlets do? Oh, they decided to just shut those people up, censor them, and say, yeah, if you don't like this movie, you're a bigot. You know, you don't like this movie, you're a misogynist. And the reason why I was kind of inspired to make this video now is because you guys might remember, not that long back, I think about a week ago, I did a review for the movie Godzilla, the one from, which was the sequel to the 2014 movie, and I thought it was a pretty damn good movie. As far as it being like a big, like, over the top monster flick with plenty of action, I thought it was considerably better than the first movie, and I really enjoyed it. But critics are absolutely slaughtering that movie. I've seen online, like, critics were just saying, oh, it was garbage, and there wasn't enough representation and all this kind of shit. There wasn't enough diversity, and you know, the human characters didn't have enough dialogue. And I'm like, you're going to see a movie called Godzilla, but you want to see diversity and politics and dialogue and all this other shit in a movie about a giant monster fucking up other monsters, really. And it was funny. My man, the Fox Strikes, shout out to him. He made a really funny comment in the comment section of that video. He was like, I can't remember the exact comment, I don't have it in front of me, but it was something along the lines of, if this movie had had a woman lecturing Godzilla about toxic masculinity, the movie would have got 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and would have been guaranteed critical acclaim. And I was like, you're absolutely right. Absolutely 100% right. The movie would have it would have been certified fresh. It would have been guaranteed absolute political and critical acclaim. Like, you know that BuzzFeed and Rotten Tomatoes and the Metro newspaper and all these people who review movies, they would have all given it 10 out of 10. They would have said it was amazing, and they would have been spunking up Godzilla's back if that was the if they had a scene like that in the movie. It's funny as well. It seeps over into TV shows. Like a few weeks back, I casually came across an article, and it was about the TV show Friends. I don't know if you guys have ever watched it. I've watched it from time to time here and there. My missus is a big fan of the show, and yeah, I came across the the article about that show. We came across it had me in stitches. It was from some social justice warrior journalist who was reviewing the show, and basically they were saying along the lines of, the show has come under renewed scrutiny, basically talking about the areas of the show which were not politically correct, and areas of the show which poked fun at popular culture, and saying, oh, this show wouldn't run today because it's too offensive. And it was also pointing out the pro PC moments of the show, and it had a list, and it was like the list was the top 100 episodes of the show, and the number one episode, I can't remember obviously the rest of them, but like the number one episode on the top 100 immediately was the one with a lesbian wedding. And then the whole reason that that episode was number one was just because it had a lesbian wedding. And that tells you how these SJWs think when they review movies. When they got to watch a TV show, or they got to watch a movie, or a comic, or a cartoon, or anything, or even if they read a book, anything, all it is about for them, the only thing that they're thinking of, they're not thinking of, is this movie going to be entertaining? They're not thinking, is this show going to be funny? Because the show Friends is a comedy, right? So you surely, if you're reviewing it, you'd be going for which episodes are the funniest or the most well acted. But no, all that mattered to these people, and the people behind these articles, the only thing that mattered to them is that this episode had a lesbian wedding. Therefore, it, like that, automatically gets number one. And it's like, it goes to show you, man, like when they got to see movies, like when Avengers Endgame came out, the liberals, SJWs, were outraged, and the only thing that they were thinking of when they went to see the movie was, oh, how is this movie going to represent me? Where's the gay representation? Where's the LGBT representation? This is a PG movie for children, but it needs to have anal sex because because diversity and representation, and that's all these people think about. It's like these people are absolute psychopaths. I'm telling you guys right now, liberals and social justice warriors are psychopaths, and these people are so unbelievably miserable and sad. I mean, imagine going to see a film, like going to see a comedy, and then, hang on a second, this film's funny, but where's the diversity? Oh no, this film doesn't have any homosexuality. Oh no, this is going to come under renewed scrutiny. This is not going to. This movie wouldn't fly today. And it's like, you hear them review, like you see online, there's articles of these people reviewing old songs and old movies and explaining why those movies wouldn't fly today. And when you see a movie come out, a movie like Love, Simon, or one of these gay movies, and they're immediately, without even watching the movie, because critics ain't going to see these movies. As soon as the movie comes out, it's 99% certified fresh. We didn't watch the movie, but it has LGBT representation, so there you go, 99% perfect. But then a movie like Godzilla comes out, which was a pretty damn good movie. I've got to be honest. I had a blast watching it. Oh, that's 40%. That's shit. That's terrible. There's no representation or diversity, so nope, you don't get a pass. And it just goes to show you, man, the absolute psychopathy of these people, these LGBT activists, these bloody climate change activists. I mean, that Pikachu movie that came out a couple of months back, they had to make jokes about climate change. The movies have to make jokes about Trump all the time. You saw that terrible fucking movie last year, Holmes and Watson, and they kept making Trump jokes, and it's like all movies nowadays that come out have to shove some agenda in your face, or have to shove it down your throat, and it's like, what are you trying to prove with this shit? Do you think that by putting this stuff in a movie, you're gonna somehow change my political beliefs? Okay, you're gonna make me a beta male cook who is all about diversity and inclusion, and is all about human rights. You're gonna turn me into some fucking gimp, all because your movie has got a few symbolic moments in it. Like, your movie's got a bit of diversity. Nobody gives a shit about this stuff. Okay, normal people, rational people do not care about this diversity bullshit. Okay, they don't, and it really needs to die, man. This trend of polluting movies with this politically correct bullshit, it really needs to die, man. It really does, because it's horrible. It's something that is just a plague. It's a cancer on society. It really is. Liberalism in general is an absolute cancer on society. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about this issue, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, thanks for watching. God bless.